Hello, my friends. My name is Gerdes. I'm just a professor trying to help you understand context in the war in Ukraine. This is the three big stories. Today we have four big stories. But before we start, I want to try something a little bit different. I'm going to invite you into an experiment. We know that hitting the like button is supposed to give a video more life. If you could hit the like button just for this one video, even if you've never hit the like button before, I'd appreciate it. We're going to compare notes between this particular video and previous videos that have X number of likes to X number of views and just see what actually happens. I'm just trying to scratch an intellectual itch. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the like. I really do appreciate that. Okay, let's get back to the four big stories. So all those German companies, we talked about this the other day, about massive exports going to Kyrgyzstan. All those German exports going to Kyrgyzstan never actually made it there. Kyrgyzstan is just a placeholder that gets written on the invoice. Kyrgyz customs data shows that imports from Germany are far lower than German data on exports to Kyrgyzstan. The true destination is Russia, and this happens from a number of countries to Russia through, say, Kyrgyzstan or other places, and they're just fueling the war effort. So it's just a follow-up to what we were talking about the other day. I thought it actually went to the country and then from Kyrgyzstan or other countries from there to Russia, but apparently they're just scamming the system. Okay. Second big story. I talked about this yesterday. Europe sees the signs of Russian sabotage, but hesitates to blame the Kremlin. And for Germany and other places, particularly, it looks like Russia has been involved in some sabotage attempts. Well, here's what's happened in Poland. Poland arrests 9 suspects over alleged Russian sabotage plot. Poland's arrested these members of the sabotage plot. We currently have 9 suspects detained and indicted who have been directly implicated in the name of Russian intelligence services and acts of sabotage in Poland, TASS told private broadcaster TVN24. These are Ukrainian, Belarusian, and Polish citizens, TASS said. Those detained are accused of beatings, arson, and attempted arson. So the hits keep coming, and I think we're going to find more and more of this, that Russia's got their hands dirty in other places as well. Okay, so I talked about this morning, and then in my second video, this morning in a daily brief, and then in my second video of why Biden will not allow the U.S. weapons to be used in Russia. And this is a really important video. I really would like your feedback on this video. I could be completely wrong. And if I'm in left field or right field in my case, then tell me so. I'm just curious. I'm trying to make sense of it. Okay, so I talked about this. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin reiterated the White House's unwillingness to approve Ukraine's use of U.S.-provided weapon strikes against military targets in Russia. Now, what if an F-16's in the air and there's a MiG on the other side in Russia? Are they able to shoot at that? Or how is that all going to play out? Like if Russia is using these fighters or bombers to drop aerial bombs that can travel some distance, are U.S. weapons allowed to go after them? Well, it looks like maybe not. And so here's a Senate Foreign Relations Committee ranking member. He's a Republican, saying Ukraine must be allowed to defend itself, period. If that means striking a Russian bomber launching missiles at Ukrainian civilians from Russian airspace, then Ukraine should be able to take that shot. Here's some more pressure from a bipartisan group of 13 U.S. Congress members led by U.S. House Intelligence Chair Mike Turner. They've sent a letter to the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, to allow Ukraine to strike strategic targets inside Russian territory with U.S.-provided weapons under certain circumstances. They also asked for additional F-15 fighter pilot training and air defense systems. Okay, so the pressure is starting to mount to allow this, and I think it's a matter of time before they allow it, but it's still a matter of time. Okay, big story number 3, 4, I don't know where we are at this point. Kadyrov's eldest son, this is Kadyrov from Chechnya. His eldest son, Akhmat, was appointed Chechnya's sports minister. He's 18 years old. Well, of course, why not? He's 18, he's qualified because he's Kadyrov's son. Since February, Akhmat was Minister of Youth Affairs. Prior to that, he was First Deputy Minister of Physical Culture and Sports. So, of course, he's more than qualified because he's probably just this genius. Or maybe it's just that he's Kadyrov's son. And by the way, if you're more than 8 years old and you're wearing a picture of that of your dad, like, I mean, I'm all about family values and stuff, but that's almost getting creepy at this point, but okay. But Ahmad is not actually, this just came out today, this isn't an isolated incident. This is Kadyrov's other son, who's 16, who's a supervisor of a special forces school in Chechnya. You heard that right. He's the supervisor of a special forces school in Chechnya. Now, he made his name some time ago. Chechnya's a Moscow-backed authoritarian leader, Razam Kadyrov, says he's appointed his 16-year-old son as a supervisor of a Chechen special forces training school. Now, he was actually more well known some time before that because there is a video that was posted online of Adam Kadyrov beating a Russian teenager who had been arrested for burning a Quran. Following the incident, he was showered with awards and honors, including one for his, quote, significant personal contribution. That's beating this teenager, his significant personal contribution to strengthening of Islam and the defense of its values. How about that? So you can appoint your 16-year-old to be in charge of the special forces school and your 18-year-old to be appointed as the country's sports minister, or the, I don't know what you call Chechnya exactly. It's more than an oblast. The republic's sports minister. Okay. What's going on here is called nepotism. It's the practice among those with power or influence of favoring relatives, friends, associates, especially by giving them jobs. And why not? It worked really well for the Kims in North Korea. After all, they got, just genius levels of intelligence in high places. Okay, last little bit. During World War II, Admiral Yamamoto famously said this, I fear all we have done is awaken a sleeping giant and fill him with terrible resolve. And that's because what happened, and this comes from Barbara Tuchman's The March of Folly, great book about military history. And in it, he was talking about how the Japanese thought that if they could just wipe out the U.S. Navy at Pearl Harbor, the Americans would just go, oh no, what are we going to do? And roll over and sue for peace. We don't want to be involved in this war. Well, what it actually did was really wake up a sleeping giant and make the Americans absolutely hate the Japanese and go after them with fury. And I think that's what would have to happen for the West to wake up and actually come after Putin in Ukraine in a meaningful way. I'm not saying Pearl Harbor, but some significant event would have to take place before the West would do it. But then I saw this video on Twitter and I thought, yeah, it's kind of like that. That's what's going to happen if Putin does what Putin would have to do in order for the West to wake up and actually have the resolve to put Putin down. Okay, just one more time because, hey, it's a fun cat video. Okay. Putin can run around and say, yeah, we're going to nuke you, we're going to nuke you, we're going to nuke you. Well, okay. All right, my friends, that's it. I really would appreciate it if you could remember to hit the like button so that I can see the high percentage of likes to how many times the video was seen. And I won't ask you to do that again. In the meantime, I generally say thank you for being the kind of person that likes, shares, subscribes, and most of all for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.